The 182 years that Bennett Coleman and Company Limited, aka the Times Group, has behind it hasn't let it remain wedded to legacy processes or technology. As Times Group CIO Rajiv Batra tells us, it is in challenging some of that legacy that the path to transforming it into a digital entity lies. With its milestones of enhancing customer experience, reducing inefficiency, increasing business agility, and enhancing staff collaboration.
Digital transformation today is a buzzword, Vijay, and technology in all this gamut comes at the end. The foundation of digital transformation is obviously the organization culture that we are looking at, and the sincerity of the executives and their mandate that will affect the transformation. So uh, we are looking at changing the entire business workflow and the mindset of people to effect a digital transformation. Technology obviously comes at the core of it, but a lot of things have to be built around it. And we have to move from a hierarchical construct of workflows to technology-enabled workflows. Obviously, that eliminates a lot of inefficiencies into the system. And the areas that we chose for this impact are customer and products and services that we want to impact on. Obviously, we are looking for improved customer experience. We're looking for new and unique products and services. And we are looking for a lot of process improvement in the organizations to further productivity enhancement. In order to implement digital transformation, I would say that we go through a very rudimentary process as such, which involves engagement with all the relevant stakeholders in the organization. We then envisage what we want to reach as an end goal of digital transformation. We execute the process, and obviously then we institutionalize the entire way how we want to run an organization. So that's what I would say is all about digitally transforming an organization is all about. Thank you. Once you get onto the journey of digital transformation, it is a graded sort of results that you start getting when you do it and you do it right. So what you are trying to impact is obviously the workflows. Why I'm saying workflows all the time is because that's the crux of the digital transformation and how it brings about the impact in an organization. We tend to eliminate a lot of inefficiencies in the organization. So obviously they become, the workflows become much more agile or quicker. We see a lot of consistency and improvement in our business metrics, as well as we see a lot of predictability in the operational processes. And obviously, when we are doing it, we are also gaining a lot on the cost optimization for an organization, as well as the overall productivity of the human resource that we have in an organization. Additionally, we also see that a lot of ad hocism gets eliminated and management gets time to do much more towards the strategic work rather than mundane or repetitive operational work that they get otherwise sucked into. And last but not the least, most of the decisions are based on data. And once you have that as your uh, decision making engine, your decision anyway becomes much more informed than they otherwise are. Getting this right skill for digital transformation is always a challenge. Uh, and with so much of cost pressures anyway, you're left with a handful of people internal in the organization, and it's not an easy task to keep on upgrading them on their skills and knowledge base. But yes, that's a challenge one has to take. So what we do is, obviously there is a training and internal learning process that we continue to upgrade the skills of our internal team, specifically on technologies related to Industry 4.0. Uh, Obviously, IoT, machine learning, some bit of artificial intelligence, analytics, the private clouds or hybrid clouds, social listening, sentiment analysis, various algorithms, how to use them. So those are the skills that we keep on upgrading uh, along with the traditional skill of SAP and rest of the uh, technologies that we have in our environment. But yes, when we have to do specific technology projects with sponsorship from the business to do the digital or digitize any process or business function, we have to take external help. So we do get people from outside. We do get skills and experts from uh, specialized organizations who are in this field. We do it either on the project base or project plus managed services along with it. And obviously, for our internal processes, we do have to augment skills from outside to keep on running the process and ensuring it is successful or meets the end goal, uh, what is needed by the business. Even from external entities, it is sometimes becoming difficult because most of them are engaged in foreign shores, because that's the high demand and high paying sort of construct that they get there. So yes, it is a challenge, but we have to do it, and we have to provide the leadership to make it happen. Yes, we are a 180 plus year organization, and newspaper or has been our anchor product. And newsprint is the raw material that goes into making it. Uh, we have started using predictive analytics for the print orders. So the what is going to be the print number that tomorrow, the decision is made a day before. And while we had earlier uh, well established practice, so after doing 180 plus years, you anyway get a very good process, a good hang of how you're going to do it. But still, we were having a uh, best industry benchmark available there, less than 5% of wastage happening. But still, we wanted to improve it. And that's where we went into a predictive modeling for our print orders. And after implementing it, which takes care of many more factors than a manual process or an Excel sheet based of modeling can do, we have brought it down from below 5% to below 1.5%, which is a significant saving on the newsprint uh, due to this analytics that we have injected into the entire process. And I'm very confident that it is the best in the industry. Nobody else can reach that level for the size of news or print orders that we do in a day. And not just only what is going to be the print order for tomorrow. When it comes to sourcing newsprint also, that's a very, again, a very complex process. And that needs a lot of predictability in terms of for the next 3 months, you have the stock ready. And it's a very volatile market, so the rates keeps on changing internationally. Most of the newsprint of quality gets imported from offshore, like from North America and some part of Far East, or from APAC region. So even for that, how to get a best pricing, we have created a forecasting mechanism, again based on predictive analytics, which tells us when to buy and how much stock should be there available, and how the extraneous factors can impact our supply lines. So some bit of external data also we feed into it to get a sort of a forecasting for our procurement process as well. So that also helps us in our costing processes and brings efficiency into the overall production environment. So Vijay, we had at BCCL two earlier stints of CRM implementation, which miserably failed, uh, apparently because they were pure technology initiative without taking partnership from business teams. So an application that's going to be used by the business, but not sponsored by it to the hilt, uh, in my view, will not be a success. So, and we had learned from it uh, as such, and probably I heard from my predecessors on the same. So I followed a plain, simple process that any tech leader should do, is taking the business sponsorship, taking a partner with the business teams and taking them along with you. If the business owns the project and IT supports it, it's going to uh, be a success for sure. That's what we do. And I was lucky enough to get the wholehearted support from the business leaders. I had a buy-in from them. They were convinced that this product is going to make a significant change or transformation in their entire process of sales. So I had both the distribution head as well as the sales head uh, uh, give a full sponsorship. I had support from right from shareholders to the CEO to do it, because again, we were transforming the entire front line from legacy environment to a completely digitally enabled system. So obviously, it had the potential and what we had envisaged to change the entire uh, the conduct of the business that we do with our customers. So it took almost a year for us to implement the entire process or the entire application for our business teams, both in the distribution, which is not just distribution, but also our customer care. How do we deal with our subscribers, and how do we deal with our the entire vendor ecosystems as we have. Then on the sales side, we had we had to follow a very strict process of eliminating the legacy applications. Why we wanted to eliminate the legacy applications was, unless we do it, people find a workaround of going into the where they are more comfortable with, rather than doing something which is much more advanced and will help the organization in a long way. So uh, again, we had a full mandate from the uh, the top to ensure that people start using it. The adoption went up. We currently have almost 90 to 95% adoption in both the streams of our businesses. Uh, what I could say is on the distribution and subscription, we have reached a pretty good level of what you say, first time resolution. So earlier, when a customer used to call, we never used to be able to close the call there and then. Now, almost 50 plus percent of the calls are closed when we call it first time resolution. So, first time they call and the call is closed because customer care agent is equipped with entire data and they know to whom they are talking to on the first go itself. Earlier, it was not available. Similarly, when the renewals of the subscriptions are done, that's pretty fast. The system is even linked to our subscription portals. So the entire workflow is now much more efficient. The payment process is much more cleaner, and we have reduced the complaints significantly over there also. Uh, Similarly, for our advertising sale processes, all feeds on street now carry analytic tools along with our CRM system. So they know their they call for calls for the day. They know their beat. They know which customer they have to meet. The dashboards and their targets are there on their mobile. They need not even come to the office, and they're also given a lot of background about the customer in terms of what could be pitched to them to make the sale much more effective. And incidentally, we also have linked our a machine learning based quote system, giving a quote to the customer. So advertising sale is pretty complex, and usually when we didn't have this system, it used to take 12 to 24 hours before a salesperson can give a sort of a quote to the customer. Now they are able to give on the fly from the system sitting across the table. So it has cut down the sales cycle as well, and uh, the salesperson can also do many more calls in a day than earlier they could do to close a call. We've been also able to eliminate certain white spaces and opportunity lost, which we earlier uh, just couldn't track. So those instances are also now more and more getting reduced. So the only problem that I would say that the last year has been COVID-19 impact, but fortunately, since we had already gone live on the new CRM, uh, things started back much more quicker than we would have had if we had continued with the legacy environment. So it had been a big plus for our frontline functions, I would say. It's not easy. In fact, uh, till that's why I said we started eliminating the legacy environment so that people were forced to be on the new, much more efficient system. And learning curve is pretty uh, not a it doesn't happen in a jiffy. So it's slightly longer than usually one would like it to be, and adoption is always a challenge. So it's and there is no secret sauce for it. So what we have to do is continue engaging with the business team, uh, keep making the connect at the executive level for that function. So and keep giving them, incentivizing people to use the system. Uh, so that's what we do. We did a multi-pronged approach at all levels in the functions to see that they are using it much more effectively. We started creating dashboard. We created sort of a positive competitive environment for people to start using. We started incentivizing people only based on what they were logging into the the new CRM system rather than through any other external workaround that they would even uh, get from the market. So everything boils down to how you are getting rewarded for what your efforts are. So all the rewards were getting routed only through the new system. So if you don't put it in, your sales, uh, you will not get it. So it's so some bit of stick and carrot approach we carried out, and uh, getting the executive of that particular function to keep pushing it. So top-down approach, uh, risk and reward, uh, putting stick and carrot. So everything that possible we did, and for a year it was up and down. But then we started seeing slowly everybody started using it. It becomes a way of life, and people do understand that if they use this uh, cutting edge system, obviously their own market value also goes up. So it is a continuous engagement that we had to ensure that people start using it, and we are able to cut down on process inefficiencies as well. Vijay, in fact, we had luckily started everything much before the pandemic even hit us. And the only thing which pandemic did was accelerate the adoption process. So most of the, I say, elements were in place, like the video conferencing systems, or the employee collaboration platforms. So those were in place. The only challenge we were facing was, and somehow we were, since last November, we had starting bombarding our employees to start using the employee collaboration platforms that we have been implemented. And till, you won't believe, till February, there were uh, like people who have been in the system for pretty long, still using audio conferencing to do their team calls and all. So once uh, pandemic started and there was a decisions of lockdown happening, we started telling people they'll have to come on this collaborative platform, otherwise they don't have any other option available to continue working. And I still remember one of my senior colleagues was saying, I don't know how to do this collaboration from computer. I'm too used to audio conferencing bridge. I said, audio conferencing bridge are no longer available. You have to use this. And after, I think we assisted him having two such calls. And from third call onwards, his comment was, I don't know why I was using the audio conferencing. This is so convenient and so much better than what the earlier systems were. So people, and that led to a much more faster adoption. I saw almost 1000% increase in collaboration tool use after the pandemic hit, or after the lockdown. That was a massive. And then we had our editorial systems who were not used to working from remote at all. And uh, earlier, whenever we used to tell them they can work from their homes if they want to create pages or do their stories, they used to brush aside. They used to say, don't talk nonsense. We had to collaborate in person to get a crux of the story so that we can sound off each other and make it happen. But once this happened, the systems were ready, and they started writing from homes. They started collaborating from home. The newspaper was still coming out. We didn't even had a single day of break, and uh, we everything moved as is. Similarly, our sales systems also moved without any problem. Our distribution network moved without any problem. We were able to give to our production teams for printing whatever is required, and they were doing 24/7, staying in the printing presses to take out the newspaper every morning. So the entire technology stack actually got adopted much faster there. Going forward, I would say we went for a continuous improvement in our editorial workflow systems, because now we believe that this setup will continue even longer. People may not come back to office 100%. We anticipate only 50% of the staff will come to office at any point of time going forward. The rest may remain work from home or remote. So we have transformed our editorial workflow system from a client server to a HTML framework based system. So it's a leap ahead, which we completed on last month only. It's make the efficiency on the remote working much more higher. Then we also implemented a lot of uh, analytical or MIS reporting through a lot of uh, dashboard implementation, so that people can do the reports on their own. They can slice and dice data and get get the information that they want. We implemented a lot of robotic process automations for our financial and HR systems, because so many statutory changes, so many government regulations changed. Even simple things like LTA being changed to you can buy capital, it requires changes in the SAP or the payroll systems. So everything we did from robotic process automation, because there were a cost pressures, there were pressure on you can't hire new people. In fact, people were uh, getting reduced. So the load was going up. There's a lot of tech, and every department is asking for more technology from IT now. So uh, and obviously to to ensure that everything still works properly, we have to make sure that the security systems are in place. So we had to do a lot of changes in our security environment. We have to introduce virtual private networks, multi-factor authentications, to upgrade our firewalls, change our antivirus systems. So many things we kept on doing the entire process. It was a non-stop, I think, engine running to ensure that the business runs like a well-oiled machine. So that's where we are now.